Welcome guys to another Juju live session. This is Joana Saahirah right here. We have a very beautiful and I think very important session about self-confidence. I decided to call it, because it's a thing, it's not a person. I decided to call it How to Become a Self-Confident Goddess. And in a second, I'm gonna explain why I chose this name. As usual, as I usually do in these new live sessions, I am going to answer questions that I have received in many years of work of teaching, performing, assisting dancers in the field of Egyptian dance. So I selected a few questions on self-confidence and how it relates with dance and with life, how it really shapes and limits our dance, limits our life, and obviously, I'm going to be open to your questions. So if you're joining me live, if you're watching it now, feel welcome to share your questions and your feedback, starting with, do you know or do you feel like you are a self-confident goddess? If I asked you, are you self-confident? Would you tell me yes? No, you don't know. If I asked you, are you a self-confident goddess, which is a very specific thing, what would you say? So it all starts with knowing where you are, right? Am I self-confident? Am I even seeing myself in my own humanity and divinity in order to call myself a goddess? Let's jump directly into the questions I have here. Some of them really, really delicious. So, first of all, is self-confidence important for Egyptian dance? I would say self-confidence is important for everything. And let's go back. What is self-confidence? Many dancers and non-dancers consider that self-confidence is about presuming you're the best. It's about arrogance. This is why so many women run away from self-confidence and from developing their self-confidence. One of the reasons why they run away. They think that being self-confident means you are an arrogant and it's not. Arrogance, it's one thing, and self-confidence is another. So self-confidence is the confidence in yourself. It's the respect and the love for yourself. It has nothing to do with considering yourself superior or inferior to other people. I would even argue that a lack of self-confidence will make you arrogant, because arrogance always puts you in comparison with others. And I think that the moment you compare yourself with others, you are dishonoring yourself. You are dishonoring, you are disrespecting your uniqueness. So let's make it clear. Self-confidence has nothing to do with arrogance. It has nothing to do with presuming that you are better or worse than anyone. Self-confidence is about focusing on your own stuff. Focusing on yourself, working on yourself, liking yourself, and then hopefully loving yourself, knowing your best qualities, knowing your flaws, your fragilities, your blind spots, and evolving from them. It is not about presuming you're perfect either, right? Because sometimes I hear about self-confidence as this delusional state of consideration where we see ourselves as perfect and above everything. No. Nobody is perfect. And even if you are the most creative, kind, intelligent, genius person in the world, you will still have flaws. You will still make mistakes. You will still be human. So let's make these 2 points clear. Self-confidence is not about arrogance, and self-confidence is not about presuming you're perfect. It is about owning all that you are, light and shadow, the good stuff and the hard stuff, the weaknesses and the strong points, and loving yourself and expressing yourself and materializing the dance and the life of your dreams coming from that identity, that unique identity, okay? So it's very important to have it clear. What is self-confidence? Self-love, self-belief, self-worth, self-respect. It's about knowing you deserve to be here. You deserve to be born, first of all, the basics. You deserve to be born, and you deserve all the good things in life. You deserve to plant and to reap what you are planting, what you are the seeds, the corresponding fruits to the seeds that you are planting. You deserve happiness, you deserve health, you deserve respect. This is self-confidence. It's also about believing in yourself. Believing that if you put your mind, your focus, and your work into the things that you really want, you have the ability, the skills, the perseverance, the talents to make it happen. It's about believing in yourself as a co-creator as well. And it's about knowing that you are so unique. You are not above anyone, and you are not beneath anyone. You are unique, and so is everybody else. So self-confidence is important. Yes, it's very important. Why? How do we know a dancer is not self-confident? How do we know it? If someone is watching and wants to comment, please feel welcome to do so in the comments. I want to read about it. How do we recognize a dancer who is not self-confident? How does this dancer look like? How does this dancer feel like? Hi Anna, hello, oi. So the first thing we can tell from a dancer who is not self-confident is the choices she or he will make are not their own. So the lack of self-confidence will take away identity. It will take away originality. It will take away freedom, because you will be too afraid of pulling out your guns. You will be too afraid to express yourself. You're gonna copycat your teachers, other dancers. You are not gonna have the confidence to express yourself and to create an original fingerprint, an original language within the language of the dance. You will not do that. You will be too afraid. You will also be too afraid to expose your true self. So you're going to create masks. Maybe the diva, or maybe the shy dancer, but rest assured you will not reveal who you are. And then again, you are casting a shadow upon yourself as a dancer and as a person, and you are weakening your dance through the lack of self-confidence. Another sign of a lack of self-confidence has to do with physical posture and your level of enjoyment. So if you're not self-confident, you will betray, you will shrink, you will diminish your dance, physically speaking. So you can actually see if a dancer is self-confident by the way they portray themselves. Now, you can start observing that right ahead. I'm here in a live Q&A giving you a few answers for questions about self-confidence. Look at my body posture, right? If I speak with you like this, open chest and open face and arms and hands directed at you, that will tell you that not only am I comfortable with what I'm sharing, but I'm comfortable being here with you and exposing myself. This is who I am. There are nothing, no cards hidden on my sleeve, okay? So you can tell about the self-confidence through the body posture. But now imagine that I shrink, that I'm here and I speak like this. And I'm communicating with you like that. And you don't see my gaze often. It's a very different game. So the posture of the dancer will reveal a lot about the level of self-confidence. Also, the energy, our energy speaks. So when you're not self-confident, you're going to shrink yourself, not only physically, but energetically. You're going to become smaller, literally, physically and energetically. So your presence will be weak, will be weak, almost invisible if you like. Anna is saying afraid of exposure. Exactly. So as I was saying, the lack of self-confidence is revealed in many ways. I'm just mentioning a few. The fear of exposure, and we're talking about different kinds of exposure, right? When you're dancing, you're not only exposing yourself physically, we hope. When you're dancing, you're exposing yourself on many levels. You're exposing yourself physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, and if we don't have self-confidence, We do not believe that what we have to give is valuable. Therefore, we will not show it. We will not open up. We will not be vulnerable. We would rather use masks than reveal our true selves, because deep within, we believe we're not interesting enough. This is also what happens with dancers who don't have self-confidence and avoid slowing down or pausing in their dance. You may ask why dancers are so afraid to pause, to slow down, why dancers are so fast and doing 1,000 things, meaningless movements all the time. And there are many reasons for that, but one of the reasons is they believe that if they slow down or if they stop, they will not be enough. Their presence will not be enough. What they have to offer as a person, as a human being, the feelings, the thoughts, the energy, the charisma, the life that pours from the dancer, they believe this will not be enough. So they overcharge their dance with movements that mean nothing. Okay, it's like overdoing all over the place and going nuts and really trying to speak without saying a thing. It's like someone going blah 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 blah, and you're not saying anything. You're just okay. So that's a sign of lack of self-confidence as well. But then the part of the enjoyment as well. So if you're not self-confident, if you're not comfortable in your own skin, if you're not sure that you bring something unique to the table, you will not enjoy yourself, not in your dance and not in your life. You're gonna be on performance mode, trying so desperately to prove that you can, that you're worthy, that you deserve the applause, that you will not create any kind of space for enjoyment. And that's a pity, because then you're wasting your life. You're not only wasting your dance, you're wasting your life, literally. Okay, trying to prove that you're worth it, right? Never feeling enough, never feeling enough. This is so common, guys. I've seen it thousands of times. Anna says exposure seems showing our deepest intimacy, our inner self. Absolutely, Anna. The thing is, you cannot dance without exposing yourself. Not really. And I don't believe we can live without exposing ourselves too. Of course, we can hide, we can protect ourselves, we can avoid sharing feelings with others, we can avoid sharing ourselves with others, we can avoid relationships, we can avoid interactions, we can avoid being vulnerable. But by doing so, we are avoiding life. Okay, so again, and as usual, let it be known that self-confidence, or the lack of, will affect your dance the same way it will affect your life. Okay, and if we answer the question that I was just answering, is self-confidence important? If we apply it to our life, I will not even start kidding you how important it is to have confidence in yourself, because if you don't, you're not gonna do anything you really want in your life. You will not believe you're capable of it. You know, I'll tell you a story. When I decided to move to Egypt to start my career, it was a big move, big move. I was already on my way to success. I was already organizing events, performing. I was making a lot of money in my country. I was shooting as an actress on television in a very popular television series. Man, I was the it. I was rocking it. But I decided, no. I want to go deeper, and my destiny is in Egypt. I knew it in my heart. So I took the risk and perhaps the madness of leaving everything behind and jumping into my Cairo adventure. I said, I am going to be the most respected dancer in that market. I'm going to dance with the best musicians in the venues that I choose in my own terms. I'm going to rescue the essence of Egyptian dance, start to make my name in Egypt, and then travel the world. Everything I've done so far, that was in my mind. That was in my head right here, and I saw it ahead of me. Nobody believed. Nobody believed. Everyone, including my parents, told me, you are nuts and you are gonna come back after a week. You are gonna come back after a week because it's too hard. When I arrived to Cairo, guys, I was advised by very famous teachers, very famous people in the field of Egyptian dance, go away. There is no way you alone are gonna make it. Who the hell do you think you are? I remember those people. I remember what they told me. I was even advised to marry a rich Arab guy. I'm not kidding you. A very famous teacher in Cairo told me, "You're so beautiful. You're a waste as a dancer. Don't waste your beauty on dance. Marry a rich Arab guy." And I was, offered the opportunity of being introduced to rich men in order to make my business really profitable, if you know what I mean. And of course, the only thing that saved me, the only thing that allowed me to keep on track of what I wanted to do and to live according to my values was self-confidence. Obviously, aspects like my education, my values, my character, they play an important role. But without self-confidence, I would have never made it because nobody believed in it and nobody believed in me. I had to believe in myself for everyone who didn't. Okay, so deep inside, I knew that I was very talented. Deep inside, I knew that I was skilled, that I was very intelligent, that I would learn very fast, and that I had all the qualities of a great Oriental dancer. I knew it in my heart. And I knew that on a personal level, I had the resources to tackle obstacles and challenges. I knew it. This is called self-confidence. Okay? Without it, I would have never done anything that I've done in my career. Not in Egypt, not around the world, not in our online platform now, Joana Saahirah's Online Dance School, serving and empowering dancers from all over the world. If you dream big, but you don't have the self-confidence to back it up, your dreams will never turn into reality. So the lack of self-confidence is not only essential for dance, guys, it is essential for life. Now, I'm going to keep reading my questions, and please, then again, share yours in the comments to this session. If you want me to answer them, I'm keeping an eye on the comments. Feel welcome to do so. Meanwhile, let's tackle the questions. Okay. Something that I heard so many times. Do I have to be skinny or beautiful in order to be self-confident? I just wrote this down, okay, guys? I selected these questions randomly from thousands of questions I've received in more than 20 years, okay, of work in this field. Do I need to be beautiful or skinny in order to feel self-confident? Okay. Now, first of all, self-confidence is not necessarily attached to the way you look. Whenever I read this question or something around this, I am reminded of Marilyn Monroe. You are all familiar with Marilyn Monroe, for sure. She was and still is an icon of beauty, an icon of sensuality, a real goddess of beauty, like a Venus. And she was one of the most insecure women ever lived on planet Earth. How can you explain that? So, one aspect of this question is self-confidence is not specifically based on the way you look. You can look amazing. You can be the most beautiful according to every beauty standard. You can be beautiful in India, beautiful in Egypt, beautiful in Portugal. You can be gorgeous and still have no self-confidence in you. Still have no confidence in the person that you are. Self-confidence comes from a combination of things. It is not only about the looks, how you look, also because how we look is going to change over time. If you're lucky enough to grow older, we will be, right? You will be an old lady, an old man. You will, if you're lucky enough. So that means our bodies and our faces are changing all the time. They're not going to be the same all the time. If you build your self-confidence upon the way you look, you are screwed. In good English, you are screwed. And sooner or later, your self-confidence is going to vanish because your looks are going to change, right? And even if you feel beautiful until you die, and I hope you do, and I do hope that we are building a society where women and men feel beautiful at all ages. The fact is, we're always changing. The physical form is constantly changing. So we cannot base our self-confidence on something that is always changing. That's nuts. It's not smart. It's not smart. So Where do we base our self-confidence? This is my opinion, guys. And again, I'm going to share with you what I have done for myself, what I do with my students in my private coaching programs, at my school, and you're welcome to take whatever suits you and discard what doesn't suit you, okay? So in my opinion, a strong self-confidence is not based on the way you look, although the way you look is important. And I'm not gonna be hypocritical. It is important. Even if you don't have a public work where you don't depend of your image, we have a self-image to consider and we like to feel good in our own skin. So I think that a healthy body is important. I think that taking care of ourselves physically is important. And that may look differently for different people, right? I know for myself, sometimes my self-care routine is very poor, either because I am busier, or I am totally focused on something that takes away time and energy for self-care. But there is always a set of basic self-care routines that I maintain in order to keep my self-confidence in my body intact. Okay, so for me, those are the basics, like meditation, like drinking water as soon as I wake up, like sleeping as much as possible, right? Making sleep a priority, managing stress, not eating garbage, not eating meat, diminishing the amounts of sugar. There are so many little self-care habits that I carry around, even when I am at my busiest, that speak about the care for my physical body, which also affects my mental health, my emotional health, and my spiritual health. So I don't believe there is a unique beauty standard. There are different beauty standards according to different cultures. But I do believe it is very important to care for our body and to look at the mirror and like what we see. I do think that's important, although it's not the only thing that will build our self-confidence. For me, what builds self-confidence the most, I mean, the strongest thing is action. Let me explain. It's not so much about how I look, it's about what I do and what I have achieved in my life, privately and publicly. So whenever I feel my self-confidence is waning down, I feel a little bit insecure, I feel a little bit weak, I remind myself of all the incredible things I've achieved in my life, privately, in my private relationships, and also in my work, in my public work. All the things I was told I would never do, I did. All the things I was told I would never be, I became. And you know what? I made it happen. I did not wait for these things to come to me, like waiting for them to fall on my lap. I made it happen. And that for me is the biggest boost of self-confidence anyone could ever give me. It's just reminding myself of the amazing things I've already done. It's reminding myself of the creativity I have already put out in the world. It's reminding myself of the love I have already given. It's reminding myself of all the dreams I was able to materialize with my bare hands, man. Of course I can do whatever I want because I have done it before. I have proof. So more than looking a certain way, more than relying on how you look, which then again is going to change throughout time, I think we should build our self-confidence based on our character and our actions, and feel proud for all the beautiful things we have already materialized in our lives, and remind ourselves that if we did that, it means we have the resources, the internal resources to do anything we put our mind and our heart and our work to it. Okay? Now, Anna is sharing with us, I love your pauses when you're dancing. It shows your passion. Yeah, pauses and silences and slowing down are what I call the breathing spaces, or the spaces for emotion. They're also the spaces where the dancer and the person in the dancer reveals themselves. So when we're busy moving a lot, our energy, our personality doesn't show too much. But when we pause, when we have the self-confidence to slow down and pause, then the person, the aura, the energy, the character comes to the surface. And I think those are the most beautiful moments in a dance performance. Okay, and if you have witnessed them, you will know exactly what I mean. Yeah. Anna says they didn't know you very well. Yeah. I think Anna is referring to the people who told me that I would never make it in Cairo for me to marry a rich Arab guy. Definitely, they didn't know me very well. The fact is, Anna, at the time, it was really, really hard because I went to Cairo without any contacts, any manager, no impresario, nobody. So I literally had to go to the places where I wanted to perform, knock on people's doors, literally, and gather an orchestra from the street, literally, and basically start from below zero. Not knowing the language, not knowing the culture, not knowing how to do things, and learning as I went, you know. And at the time was forbidden. It was forbidden for foreigners to do solo work in Egyptian dance. I don't know, many dancers know this and many dancers don't know that. There was a time in Egypt where you could not work professionally as a solo Oriental dancer. You couldn't. It was forbidden. It was forbidden for about 2 years. So what I did was I worked with folkloric groups. I worked in video clips, Egyptian video clips, and I went to perform in Beirut, in Lebanon. That was my first contract. And when the law changed, I came back to Cairo and I faced the dragon. And I made it, of course. But the thing is, very often we don't go for our dreams because we believe the voices that tell us we are not able to make them. We're not good enough. We're not smart enough. We're not intelligent enough. We're not creative enough. We're not young enough. We're not old enough. We believe those voices. And what self-confidence teaches you is to listen to the inner voice that tells you, yes, you can. Even if everyone else around you is telling you, girl, who do you think you are? And you tell them, you want to know who I am? I am fabulous. And I am able to materialize everything I dream of if I put my focus, my vision, my energy, and my constructive action to it. So it is super important to develop this self-confidence, not only for your dance, but mostly for your life. Red lipstick, says Anna. I love red lipstick. Yes. So another question, guys. How can I become more self-confident? Is it a skill I can learn? Can you learn self-confidence? Can you be taught how to be self-confident? And my answer is a very happy yes. You can learn. Yes, you can learn. You can learn from a teacher. First of all, a teacher who knows how to take you there. Second, a teacher who likes to see you shine. And this is something that you don't always find in dance. And I don't mean only in Egyptian dance, guys. Look, I grew up dancing classical ballet, jazz, modern dance. And I remember I had a few teachers who did not want to see their students shining. They were very cruel, very critical. They would put you down for fun, you know. So it's not a given that every teacher will pull you up. It's not a given. But if you're lucky enough to have a dance teacher or a personal development teacher who knows what skills to develop, who knows what awareness points to awaken in you, and who also wants to see you flying, to see you thriving, someone who is a true teacher, which for me is a generous teacher, then yes, you can learn. Self-confidence is something that you can learn. You can read about it, you can hear about it, you can take courses on it. In my own school, at Joana Saahirah's Online Dance School, and if I have any student of mine listening to this, they will tell you, I always work on the personal development. This is why Joana Saahirah's World and Joana Saahirah's Online Dance School stands for Authentic Egyptian Dance, Personal Discovery and Empowerment. And now I see a lot of people copying this slogan, this motto that I've been using and working with for many years. But for me, it is not a logo. It is not a slogan. It is a reality. And my students will tell you that. I am a pain in the neck. If I teach you Kulthum, or if I teach you Sha'abi, or if I teach you Baladi Awadi, you will not only learn the dance steps and the choreography, you will learn about yourself. You will strengthen your self-confidence and many other things. So I don't believe you can teach the dancer without teaching the person in the dancer. And self-confidence, absolutely, it can be taught. And it can be developed. Hi, Carla. Carla is saying, I think we love our bodies when we think about how much they allow us to do. That's the real beauty. Absolutely. Absolutely. And you know, Carla, you're touching a very, very interesting point, which is around here in my questions. I have all this in a notebook, guys, which is the connection between self-confidence and body image, right? So there is a lot of connections between self-confidence and body image. And then again, Carla, I agree with you 100%. I think that more than focusing on how you look, focus on how many beautiful things your body can do. And then you earn a sense of appreciation for your body that also empowers you. It strengthens your self-confidence. So it's not so much, am I tall? Am I short? Have I lost weight? Have I gained weight? I mean, does that define your level of self-confidence? I hope not. I hope not, right? Self-confidence is about the self. It's about all that you are. You cannot be resumed to the way you look. Don't do that to yourself. Don't do that to yourself. You dishonor yourself when you resume yourself to the way you look. You are not a body. You are a full human being with many qualities, with many kinds of beauty, many dimensions. We are emotional beings. We are mental beings. We are energetic beings. We're not beings. Beings. We are spiritual beings. We're not only physical beings. So Carla is bringing something that I really love, and it's somewhere in one of these questions that I selected, which is looking at our body and seeing how much it does for us. And I don't only mean in dance. I'm not only talking about dance, I'm talking about what your body allows you to do every single day. You breathe. You are alive. You can walk. You can communicate, you can listen, you can smell, you can taste, you can experience life. Even when things are hard and tough and sad, you're still alive. You're still privileged because you're able to feel them. You're able to experience this. You're still here. There is still a sun above your head. You see, this is a privilege. It is not a given. And that kind of gratitude, that kind of appreciation for our physical reality, for our bodies, I agree with Carla. It really helps to build a strong self-confidence. I totally get it, Carla. Thank you for commenting. It's really nice. Anna says, even people around us may dislike our shining. Okay, so that's another question, Anna. That's another question, guys. And you're touching in questions that I actually have here. So let me bring another question that I had selected related to what you're telling me, Anna. So, look, a lot of times women will not develop their self-confidence because they know they will not be supported and liked by the ones around them. And you may think, how come? If I'm getting stronger, if I'm learning how to love myself, if I'm learning how to believe in myself, how to respect myself, people around me will love me and will support me and will help me to go even further, right? Not necessarily, because most of us are not self-confident. We are not raised to be self-confident. You are not. I was not. Most of us are not. There are exceptions. Yes, there are exceptions. Yes. There are parents who have raised their kids to be very self-confident, to believe in themselves, to believe in their skills, but those are exceptions. In my experience, most of us have not been educated for self-confidence. And the crazy thing is, you may think that when you're working on your self-confidence and you're bringing your light out in the world, everyone will love you for that. It is not true. Not everyone will love you for that. And some folks will feel so annoyed because you are self-confident. They will feel, who the hell does she think she is? And why? Because they're not self-confident. They're not self-confident. So they think, why is she so self-confident? We become a mirror for the self-confidence others have not developed. So we become a reminder of the light they are not allowing themselves to shine. We become a reminder of the strength and the faith and the self-value, the self-respect they have not developed in themselves. So they get annoyed. You become an irritation. You know, I've had people having the guts to tell me, there is something about you I don't like. I'm not sure what it is. I just don't like you. You annoy me. I know what it is. You don't know, but I know. Anna says it's envy. Yes, but envy is a reflection of a mirror. When do we feel envy? When is it? When we perceive, and this is a perception, like anything else, it's a perception. I perceive that someone has something I wish I had and I don't have. This is what envy comes from, and this is what self-confidence very often provoke in other people. They see in you something they wish they had. The irony is that they do have it. They have not developed it. They have not claimed it, but they have it. But you become a reminder of something they have not developed. Something they didn't have the guts to develop. And let me tell you something about self-confidence, guys, that is usually ignored. Self-confidence puts you in trouble. Self-confidence is a lot of work. Why? Because when we are in the victim mode, I'm nothing, I'm worthless, I am terrible, I don't have the skills or the resources or the talents to make anything happen, who am I? When we are embracing this victim mentality, we are off the hook. We can lay down in the sofa, eat potatoes and watch Netflix and nobody will bother us. Why? Because we're worthless. We're worthless. Don't bother me. Don't tell me to go out in the world and make stuff happen because I can't. I'm worthless. I'm a victim. I'm not talented. Don't talk with me. Don't tell me to go and make it happen. Who am I to make it happen? So victimhood is very comfortable. Self-confidence is not. When you are self-confident, you realize you have the power to co-create things. You don't have the power to create because you're not God. You have the power to co-create, right? So I usually say that self-confidence shows you're always dealing with a 50-50% equation. What is that 50-50% equation? Half of manifestation, half of the things I wish to manifest in my dance and in my life, they belong to life itself. They're out of my hands. The other half is in my hands. So it's a 50-50% equation. I have to do my 50%. But when I am not self-confident, I believe I do not own my 50%. I'm a victim. Everything happens to me. Poor me. Everything goes wrong. I'm so unlucky. Oh my God. No. No, you make your own luck at a great extent. Rest assured, sometimes we work very hard for something. We give it our best and it doesn't happen, or it doesn't happen the way we wish it would, right? So that's life not agreeing with your plan. That's the other 50% of the equation telling you, you know, maybe it was not meant to be that way, or not in that direction. So we always have to pay attention to the other 50%, to what life is telling us, and adjust accordingly. But the 50% of turning our dreams into reality and improving and evolving, those 50% that are in our hand, we will only claim them when we are self-confident. And this is why so many of us do not want to develop our self-confidence, because it's a lot of work. Anna is saying it requires work. Absolutely, absolutely. You know, when I decided to create my online school, right? I will give you another example. So throughout the years, I've heard people telling me, when are you gonna open your school? Mahmoud Reda, the father of Egyptian folklore, with whom I worked and studied during all the years I was performing in Egypt, he always told me, Joanna, you have to open your school. Haram, yani haram. How you don't have a school? How is that possible? And I took it as a compliment, but I also knew it was not the right time and the right format. So I didn't want to do it in Egypt, because I knew that eventually I would start traveling the world, as I did. And I was also afraid of doing it outside of Egypt, because then I would be stuck to a specific place and I could not travel. I did not have the freedom of movement that I like to have. So when the possibility of opening my school online, allowing me to reach students from all over the world and allowing me to live from wherever I wanted, to have freedom of movement, I had to upgrade myself on every level. And I had to redo my sense of self-confidence all over again. First, I'm zero at technology, if you believe it. Nobody believes this, but it's true. I am the worst person I've ever met in my life dealing with technology. And you say, Joanna, you're kidding me. No, I'm not kidding you. I am terrible with technology. I'm terrible with machines. And there was a lot of resistance before I dared to do my first official online class. And then deciding to create the best Egyptian dance school in the world, I said, okay, if I'm gonna make it, I'm gonna make it right, and I'm gonna make it big. But it took an entire new set of skills that I had to learn. Technology, machinery, video editing, marketing. So many things I thought I could never do. So many things that were out of my comfort zone. So my self-confidence reminded me, if you did everything you've done in your life so far, girl, you can nail this. Just look back. You've already built an incredible career in Egypt. You've traveled the world teaching, lecturing, performing. You've published 2 books, and not in your mother language. I'm Portuguese, guys. I'm Portuguese. I wrote and published books in English. I spent most of my adult life speaking in Arabic. So I know I have the resources to do whatever I want. I know. And if I don't have them, I will gain them. I will learn them. I will search for them. So when I decided to create my online school, I had to remind myself of everything I had ever done, and I had to rebuild my self-confidence and say, you know what? Yes, you will need a lot of new skills, but baby, this is life. This is life. We're always learning, and we always have to upgrade ourselves, especially these days. So I reminded what it felt to be self-confident, and that was a lot of work. I've been working non-stop like a maniac. If I had gone into the victim, if I had gone into the state of believing that I am not good enough, that I'm not capable, I would have remained doing what I've always done, traveling the world, and I would do things like everyone does. I would not have created a pioneering school as I did. So it takes a lot of work, but it is the only way to make stuff happen in your dance and in your life. Make no mistake. Okay, so you can either choose not to develop your self-confidence and remain a victim and never go anywhere and never do anything and feel like your life is meaningless and empty, or You can say, okay, it's going to be a lot of work, but I'm going to do it with passion. I'm going to give it my best, man, even if it's not perfect, you know? And you embrace your self-confidence and you go for the things that are meaningful to you and you work for them. You have the humbleness to work for them. Super important. Okay, so what else do I have here for you? Once I am self-confident, I love this one, and I've been asked this so many times. Once I'm self-confident, I will never feel insecure or afraid again. I love this. So here's the thing. Self-confidence is not something that you do one time, you're done, you're fixed, you're healed, you're strong, you're good to go, and you will never fall on your derriere again. No, it doesn't work like that. So let me clarify something. Self-confidence is something that you have to build and rebuild all the time. First. Second, you can be self-confident and fragile and insecure and fearful. Being self-confident or brave is not the same as having no insecurities, having no fears, having no doubts. No, I doubt myself every day. I am insecure, believe it or not. I have my own insecurities. I have my own fears. But I don't allow them to stop me from moving forward. I don't allow them to stop me from believing in myself. I will always be human, so I'm not a machine who is programmed for self-confidence and will stay this way forever and ever. I'm human. We are permeable to life. All it takes for you to feel insecure is someone to make a comment about you, or you read a review about something. You know, I'm going to tell you a story. When I published my first book, The Secrets of Egypt, Dance, Life and Beyond, there was a specific review by a dancer who was so destructive. Oh my God, she said the worst things about my book and about myself, mostly about me. Very mean, very, very mean. I was reading that critique on the book, and I thought, okay, first of all, everyone has the right to their opinion. It's just a fact. The moment you put yourself out there, you're going to be bound to receive criticism, fair criticism, unfair criticism from everyone. And you're also bound to receive the love and appreciation and respect of people. So it all comes in one bag. Take it or leave it, okay? On another side, as I read the critique, for a moment, a split second, I felt like hell. I said, is she right? Maybe the book is worthless. Maybe I screwed up. A second. And then I snapped out of it. Because first of all, it takes a lot to write a book like that. And nobody has ever done it. So I've read everything in the field of Egyptian dance and music, everything that is published. And there are incredible books about many aspects of Egyptian dance, but no book like the one I wrote. So I'm still very proud of my book. And I was at the time. Today I'm more than I was. And it only took me a second to snap out of this insecurity that came from this criticism and remind myself that usually, the ones who criticize are not the ones who do stuff. I usually say you're either a creator or a critic. Critics criticize. Creators create. If you are a creator, you will be busy and focused on creating, making stuff happen. Imperfect stuff, amazing stuff, mediocre stuff, average stuff. You will have the confidence to put them out in the world. Do your best. Every author, every dancer, every artist will tell you this. If they look back at something they have done, they will think, I could have done it better. Yeah, but at the time I didn't. That was my best at that moment, and I have to be proud of it. And I have to be confident in myself and in my contribution to the world, to the point that critics will not affect me and my self-confidence. So Rest assured, we will always feel fragile or insecure here and there. But we must always come back to that internal voice that can be educated, it can be taught, it can be reawakened again and again and again, that tell us you're doing your best and you should be proud of you. We can go back to that. And we can be self-confident and insecure at the same time, because we're human and we are complex. And we are many things at the same time. So it is a beautiful thing. Don't expect self-confidence to look like iron. I'm like an iron woman. Nothing can touch me. Nothing can move me. Nothing can put me down. No, you will cry. And you will feel sometimes like you're not good enough, and you will feel like you're failing, and you'll feel like a fraud sometimes. I'm sure you all heard about the imposter syndrome. Have you heard about it? Imposter syndrome? Let me know in the comments if you have heard about it. So the imposter syndrome, it's a syndrome that makes us feel periodically that we are a fraud. That we're not so great, we're not so good as we thought we were, as people thought we were. As if at any moment, someone would come into my room and say, Joana, you're a fraud. You are the worst dancer in the world. You are the worst teacher in the world. You're not an author. You are not a creator. You're nothing. And you have been unmasked. You have been exposed, woman. Who do you think you are? You know? So, the imposter syndrome is something that I feel affects everyone. Some of us more than others, but it affects everyone. And I believe it's related with a lack of self-confidence. Okay? So the moment you have your self-confidence, your self-worth, your self-respect, your awareness of who you are and what you're capable of, once you have that very clear, very strong inside of you, the imposter syndrome will not affect you. Not that much anymore. It will be a thought passing by, just like insecurities, just like fears. They will be thoughts passing by. You will not identify yourself with them. You know what I mean? So if I feel, oh, I'm not good enough, I'm not intelligent enough, I'm not creative enough, I know that's just a thought. I have developed my self-confidence to the point that I know this is transitory. It is a thought. It is not who I am. What we think is not what we are, although most of us identify ourselves with our thoughts. So if I think I'm worthless, I must be worthless. No. You may think you're worthless. It doesn't mean you are worthless. It is just a thought. And the thought can be changed. If you don't take anything else from this session, take this. It is just a thought, and the thought can be changed. And the more self-confident you are, the more aware you are, and the more able to deal with negative thoughts you will become. So when they come, you treat them like a visitor. You understand? A visitor. Oh, you're not talented. Really? I'm not talented? Okay. Thank you for sharing that with me. Now, sod off. Let me do my thing. So it's like an unwanted visitor. Okay? It is not who we are. Very good. Now, I'm going to read one last question. I had many more. I have like an entire notebook filled with questions, but I don't want to make these sessions too long. So I will select only one more, okay? Only one more question. And guys, share your last questions in the comments with me if you want them answered before we close, okay? So the last question I'm gonna select from my list is this. Why do I always feel like I'm not enough? Ooh, this is a good one. It is a strong one. It's something that I have personally struggled, I think, all my life. If you believe it, this sensation that it's never good enough. I'm never good enough. I'm fully aware that I carry it with me. I, Joana, carry it with me. So it is very easy to identify it in other women. This is why, one of the reasons why I believe I do such a great job at teaching. It's because somehow I'm the archetype of the wounded healer. I have those wounds. And because I have them, I can see them in you. I can identify them, and I know how to remove them. I know how to heal them. I know how to clean them, because I have done that process in myself first. So this is a wound that is so common, the feeling like we're not enough. We're never enough. It doesn't matter how much we do, we're never enough. And this comes from many places, okay? So the first thing I would suggest that you do is working on contradicting that belief, that thought. And then again, treat it like a visitor, an unwanted visitor, right? Whenever you feel I'm not enough, you're gonna contradict that with, yes, I am more than enough. It's not like I'm enough, I am more than enough. I'm doing my best, I'm showing up in my dance and in my life with all my heart. I'm putting the work that I have to work towards the things that I want to materialize. I am giving it my all from my heart, body, and soul. I am definitely more than enough. So every time the thought of not being enough pops into your reality, into your system, you can answer it back with its opposite, as if you were starting a battle, because it is a battle between thoughts, between belief patterns. And the more you contradict the I'm not enough by saying its exact opposite and reinforcing it, I am more than enough, I am super enough, I am so enough, the more that destructive thought weakens, the more it goes away, the less it affects you. So this is the first thing. Second thing, you gotta watch out, because we live in a world that will always tell you you're not enough. This is how people sell you diet products. This is how we're sold clothing and cosmetics and so many products, so many offers that we are sold successfully because we believe when they tell us we're not enough. Your skin is not good enough. Buy this product. Your hair is not good enough. Buy that product. Your whatever, fill in the blank, is not good enough. Buy that service. Your is not good enough. Buy that thing. And we are told directly or indirectly 24/7 that we're not enough by a society, a capitalistic society, of course. We're talking about economy as well, not only. A society that lives off our insecurities. Listen to that again. We live in a capitalistic society that lives off our insecurities, that lives off the belief that we're not enough. So you gotta watch out for the voices, the collective voices that tell you you're not good enough, you're not thin enough, you are not successful enough, you're not rich enough, you're not loved enough, you're not desired enough, you're not pretty enough, you're not intelligent enough, you're not educated enough, you're not interesting enough. There are so many not enoughs that are being bombarded into our system, and it takes a very strong mind, very strong independent mind to counterattack and receive those voices and not allow ourselves to be affected by them, not too much at least. So it's super important that you become aware of the messages that we're constantly receiving from exterior sources, and sometimes even from our families. You should be skinnier, you should be fatter, you should be doing this, you shouldn't be doing that, you're not this enough, you're not that enough. Look at that person, look at that person. And of course, the disease of comparison, which is a killer of self-confidence. We compare ourselves with each other. In the age of social media, either you like it or not, either you're aware of it or not, we're constantly comparing ourselves, our dances, our lives with the realities of other people, right? And that is also a kind of pressure that tells you you're not enough. That person is in the Bahamas. on a luxury vacation. Where the hell are you? You're working your ass off. You're not successful enough. You're not smart enough. If you were, you would be in the Bahamas, you know? Or look at that house. Oh, your house is not good enough. It's not as good as that house. Of course, this is not obvious, guys. This is not something that someone in principle will tell us face to face or directly. These are indirect processes of comparison that we're constantly doing, even if just unconsciously. So it's very important to go back to ourselves, to who we are, to develop our self-confidence so that we know for a fact, as a base, that we are enough. That what we have manifested, the life that we have created is enough. Now, does that mean we're never gonna improve, or we don't have ambitions, or we don't have new dreams? No. I have a lot of dreams. I've always been a dreamer. When I achieve something, I'm already thinking about the next thing. But I enjoy and celebrate who I am and what I have. And I don't compare myself with anyone. If I wanted to be on vacation in the Bahamas, I would be. That is not my choice. And you cannot be and not be everywhere at the same time. So life is made of choices. If I wanted a luxury house, I would have gotten one by now. But that would have meant a set of decisions that I didn't want to make, a set of choices that I would not have wanted to make, that I didn't do. So I chose other things for me. I valued other things because I'm living from my own identity, from what makes sense to me, what is important to me, not what is important for everyone or what others tell me is important. So perhaps having like a super luxury car is not my definition of success. It's definitely not. I don't care about cars. I love to walk. I love to ride a bicycle. I don't care about cars, right? But perhaps having the luxury to do what I love from any place in the world and living from my passion is what I value, is what I achieved. And it is a luxury, and I'm very, very happy for it. But it is my reality. It is my priority. It is what makes sense for me. It may not be what makes sense for you. So in this question of not feeling enough, it's so important that we stay strong in the belief that yes, we are enough. Yes, we are more than enough. It's very important that we keep an eye for the external pressures that tell us directly or indirectly, you are never enough. And we also have to watch out for the comparison. Comparing ourselves with others, which is really, it's a killer of everything. It's a killer of your peace of mind. It's a killer of your self-confidence. It's a killer of your quality of life. So let people be what they are. Let us inspire each other. Let us support each other. And let us choose the path that makes sense for us, each one of us, individually. Okay? Anna says, how do we switch the thoughts? Okay, so look, Anna, within the subject of self-confidence and many other subjects, the awareness of our thoughts is a central key. We cannot change a lot of things that we probably ought to be changing if we are not in touch with our thoughts, because our thoughts or belief patterns are the things, are thoughts that you hold so dearly and so consistently into your system, and for so long they become certainties. These are the belief patterns. So a thought can become a belief pattern. Imagine that I have a thought. I am dumb. I'm dumb. I'm not intelligent. This is a thought. If I repeat it consistently, or if I am told consistently, you're dumb, Joana, you're dumb. If that thought is cultivated and fed and grown and maintained and expanded inside myself for a consistent amount of time, it can become a belief pattern. So this is not a thought anymore. It is something that I'm sure I am. It goes from a thought to a certainty. This is the big difference between a thought and a belief pattern. If I think, I'm not talented. I'm not a talented dancer. It's just a thought. I say, oh, that's stupid. It's just a thought. But if I hold that thought, I'm not a talented dancer, for a consistent amount of time, and if I have other factors helping me, perhaps a teacher telling me, you're not talented, what do you think you can do with dance? You know, for God's sake. If I hold that thought for a consistent amount of time inside my system, inside my mind, my body, if I water that thought as if it was a seed, it will grow. And it comes a moment when it will be so deeply under my skin that it is not a thought anymore. It is a belief pattern. I'm sure I am not a talented dancer. I am sure. And then all my decisions will be affected by that certainty. So thoughts and belief patterns, I believe, are so important in the way we build our self-confidence and in the way we build everything. And I would say that the first thing you can do to become aware of your thoughts is actually two little things. One is meditation. Guys, I've been, and I'm not a meditation teacher. I do meditation for myself, and I do it inside my courses, and I use it with my private coaching program students. That's it. But I am not a meditation teacher. I use it as a tool for myself and for my students, okay? But I totally advise everyone, for many reasons, and this is one of them, to start a meditation practice, even if just 10 minutes a day. There are different kinds of meditations. Choose one that fits you, okay? Why? Because through the regular practice of meditation, and I mean regular, meaning daily practice of meditation, you become aware that you are not your thoughts. Point one. You also become aware of the kind of thoughts that cross your mind the most frequent visitors, okay? Aside from meditation, I think that it really helps to hear what you speak about yourself. If you want to become aware of your belief patterns, listen to yourself speaking about yourself. What kind of words do you usually associate when you're speaking about yourself? Guys, share it with me in the comments. Share it with me in the comments. What are the words you use the most when you talk about yourself? If you start to pay attention to the words that you use to describe yourself in conversations with other people, when you're alone with yourself, you will start to notice that your words, the words that you use to describe yourself, correspond to your belief patterns. So if you call yourself an idiot, even if joking, if you say, oh, I'm nothing, oh, I cannot do anything, oh my God, I'm so clumsy, oh my God, I'm so stupid, I'm such an idiot. Sometimes we play around with these things and we think they're not important. And we speak about ourselves in very destructive ways, very evil sometimes, even evil. We say things about ourselves that are so mean, but we discard them. We say, I'm just speaking, whatever. It's not whatever. They reflect the way you see yourself, the thoughts you feed about yourself, the belief patterns that you are carrying within that are determining all your actions, all your choices. So if I believe I'm not smart enough, you think I'm going to start my own company? If I believe I'm not lovable, that I'm awful, I'm not lovable, I'm not interesting, do you think I will be able to create a healthy, loving, passionate relationship? Hell no, I won't. Because our actions, our choices, our decisions are shaped by our belief patterns. If I believe I'm not lovable, I will create hellish relationships. If I believe I'm not smart, I'm not intelligent, I will never dare doing something new. I will never step out of my comfort zone. If I believe I'm not talented, I'm not creative, I'm not capable, do you think I will ever do something big and interesting in my life? Forget about it. So these are not just thoughts, guys. This is the way we're living our life. This is not just thoughts, and it's not just something that affects your dance, it affects your life. Be aware of it. So important. It can be a lifesaver, you know. So we switch our thoughts by becoming aware of them, first of all, and by replacing them with different thoughts and belief patterns and acting accordingly. So start to consciously choose the things you want to believe about yourself and then act accordingly. Example, I'm creative. I am creative. I'm very creative. I go ahead and I start creating stuff because it's not enough to say it. It's not enough to claim it. You actually have to put it into action. The combination between a positive belief pattern and the corresponding action is unbeatable. Okay? Carla says, even those experiences that make us feel insecure or leave us with the feeling of not being enough, if you think again, are part of the learning process. Sometimes there are not better way than experience to learn about those specific things that you need to know. Absolutely, Carla, I'm loving it. Keep them coming. I really love your comments. Thank you, honey. Yeah, absolutely. Look, as I often say, you know, our flaws and our fragilities and our shadows and our blind spots, they're not here to bring us down. They are here to show us what needs to be changed, what needs to be improved. So the insecurities, the fragilities, they're not only here to remind us of their opposite, but they're also here to remind us that we are human. There is a story, I don't remember exactly from which Greek philosopher. He tells a story about a big warrior king. And before they went into the battlefield, he had a counselor whose job was to whisper in his ear before he went into the battlefield, remember, you're only a man. I love that. I don't remember who said this, but this is a Greek mythology story. Remember, you're only a man. And very often, it's our insecurities that are gonna pull us forward. The only question is not allowing our insecurities and fears to pull us down. You know, self-confidence is very connected with courage. And throughout time, I've heard people telling me, Joana, you're so brave. You're fearless. I tell them, wait a second, I am very brave, but I'm not fearless. Not always. I have a kamikaze side to me, rest assured. I am kamikaze on many levels, but I'm not fearless. I have fears. The difference is that some of us allow our fears to stop us, to block us. I'm afraid, so I will not do anything. And others don't allow their fears to stop them. I'm afraid, and I'll do it anyway. I will go with my fear. You think I was never afraid? I was afraid of most of the things I did in my life. And I did very risky things, very big stuff in my life. I was always afraid. Every time I was on stage, every time I go on stage, I'm terrified. I tell you a story, very funny one, true one. In a big show in Moscow, in Russia, I was scheduled to perform with an Egyptian orchestra, some of the musicians who had worked with me in Cairo, in a big theater in Moscow, huge theater, fully packed. They do it big in Russia. I was always received with so much love in Russia, by the way. So I was hired to do this show. In Russia, it was a big festival, the biggest festival in the country. Thousands of people in the theater, a full Egyptian orchestra, like I was used to work with anyway. It was not new to me, but somehow when we were on our way to the theater, I had an anxiety attack because the expectation was so high. There were people coming from all over Ukraine and Russia and other countries to see me perform. When I knew about that, I got hyperventilating. I said, oh my God, maybe I will not be as good as they think I am. You know, I will frustrate their expectations. I just remember I was in the car with the driver to the theater and I told him half jokingly, take me to a bar. Tell them I got lost. I will not go. I will not show up. I'm terrified. I was so terrified. I was so terrified. I was shaking all over, you know. And of course I went, I did it. Of course, I didn't disappear. I'm a professional dancer, so even if I'm dying, I will be there. But I remember how afraid I was, and how at the last moment I turned that fear into adrenaline. I remember that. I saw the musicians from the backstage. I saw the fully packed theater, and there was that moment when you have to decide, look, I'm human. I'm only human. Like the officer, the Roman officer going into the battlefield. Remember, you're only a man. Remember, you're only a person. You will be terrified. Everyone is looking at you. Thousands of people, okay? There's a lot of expectation, but turn that into adrenaline. Turn that into passion. Turn that into fierceness. And that's what you do. You turn the fear into something good. It doesn't make you fearless. You're not fearless. Nobody is, because we're here to survive. We have survival instinct. So every time we feel we are a little bit at risk, any kind of risk, we feel afraid. That's how we survive. But fearlessness is not as interesting as courage and self-confidence. And self-confidence and courage tell you that even being afraid, even being insecure, you can still move forward. Even if you're nervous, go and do it anyway. Go nervous, but go, do it, okay? Marian says, it's not who we are, but it is always good to do some self-reflection. I believe that self-reflection is something you should do periodically. I actually make meetings with myself. You know, I will sit by myself at a coffee shop with my journal, with my notebook, and I will journal about who I am, what I'm thinking, what's going on, where I want to go periodically. And I mean, at least once a month, one time per month, I do that. So it's very important to go back to ourselves and not get lost in the noise, okay? And see where we are and what we need to build or rebuild. As I mentioned, self-confidence is often something we have to rebuild again and again and again, okay? Marian says, Anna says, it's my biggest challenge getting, not fitting certain thoughts. Anna, you are not alone, okay? You're really not alone. It is a constant battle. The thing is, the more you're aware of those negative thoughts, and the more you have the mental discipline to answer them back as if they were unwanted visitors, the less they will control you and the way you operate. So there is no magic formula to end destructive thoughts. I believe as humans, we will always have destructive thoughts. If we have creative thoughts, we have destructive thoughts. They are two sides of the same coin, right? And even insecurities, guys, when you think about insecurities, all great artists are insecure. And very often they create and they prove their talent and they communicate and express their talent out of their insecurities. So sometimes your biggest enemy, it's your biggest treasure also. Just don't let those thoughts, those belief patterns stop you from dancing and living from your soul. From dancing and living with full joy, with full presence. Don't allow them to make you smaller than you are. That's the only thing, because they will always be there. Okay, I don't know anyone who only has positive thoughts. Never met him, never met her. Okay. Marian says we have to learn to live our own life, not what others expect of us. We can't be everybody's darling, and there will always be people we can't please in no way. So why try so hard? Absolutely. And you know, Marian, one of the byproducts of a strong self-confidence is that you start to live your own life and you stop this need to please others. This is one of the things that happens when you develop your self-confidence, is that you're living your own reality. You're focused on what makes sense for you, and you're not so worried anymore about what others think. It's not that important to you anymore, or not important at all. So I would say that's a byproduct of a strong self-confidence. Find like-minded people. Absolutely. It helps if you have a community of friends, of colleagues, of family members who support you. It helps, but don't make it dependent on them. Don't deliver the job of making you believe in yourself a job from other people. That's your primary job. I usually tell my students, you should be the first one to applaud yourself. And they think I'm crazy when I say that. I tell them, and this is true, guys, whenever I finish something that I feel proud of, I applaud myself, literally. I finish it and I go, oh my God, Joana, oh my God, girl, you're amazing. Like a crazy person. I do it because I am my own audience. I am my own applause. If others applaud me, if others reinforce my self-confidence, it's great, it's beautiful, it's wonderful. But I don't depend on them. I don't think it's other people's job to make me believe in myself. It is my job to make me believe in myself. And if others agree and help me, it's great. It's an extra push, but they're not the ones responsible for it. Very often, you have women and men who are told you're amazing, you're fabulous, you're so talented, and they don't believe it. They have not done the job for themselves. And you know what happens? They feel like hell. Even if the entire world tells you you're amazing, if you don't believe you're amazing, if that applause is not something that comes from you primarily, nobody can help you. Nobody can help you. It has to come from you first. So be the first to applaud yourself. Be the first to say, Marian, you are enough. You're beautiful. You're capable. Anna, you're amazing. Tell yourself. Don't wait for others to give you that. What happens if they don't? What happens if they don't? Or what happens if they do, but you don't believe it? So, self-confidence is something that starts within, independently of the ones who surround you. At least this is my experience. This is what I've observed, okay? Marian says, words are energy. Absolutely, absolutely. This is why in the Bible you had a very famous quote. First there was the Word. The Word is the creation of God. Word is energy. When I say something, I'm already somehow manifesting it. I know this is a little cuckoo, but it is true. Hi, Carla. Carla is saying, I love to hear you. Oh, honey, thank you. Thank you. This is only possible because I have interesting people sharing questions and comments with me like you. Loveline says, I always love listening to you. Thank you for sharing. You're so welcome, guys. Okay, so we're about to close this session. I had a few more questions here, but it's gonna be too long and I have to control the time. It's too long and I don't want to extend these live sessions too much, okay, so that they are digestible and they are practical. Now, I have a few things to announce. First of all, we have our new online course, How to Dance a Bella Diawedi, and one of the features we're going to develop is self-confidence. So if this is a theme that interests you, if you have participated or watched this live session in the replay and you feel this is something that would be important for you, I obviously believe it is, but it's up to you. You have to feel it. Consider joining us because the course is starting right now, okay? Next month, July, it's about to start and it's going to be really amazing. I'm going to share the link to the course in the comments to this video if you're watching this on Facebook, or in the description box below this video if you're watching it on YouTube, because this will be at Joana Saahirah's YouTube channel as well, okay? Also, I am going to offer my first live YouTube session about the Bint el-Balad and what we can learn from Egyptian women, a very interesting subject I have never explored publicly. I'm going to offer it on the 1st of July at 3 p.m. Lisbon/London local time. At the same time we started the live session today in my YouTube channel. So I would advise you to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Go to Joana Saahirah on YouTube. You will find the channel. Subscribe. Click on the notifications bell button so that you know when I'm live, and show up on the 1st of July. This is going to be another free session. I'm going to share so much of what I have personally gained from living side by side and learning from Egyptian women, Baladi women, Banat el-Balad, Banat el-Nil. And I'm very excited to share that session with you. Join me, join me, join me. Last but not least, feel welcome to subscribe to Joana Saahirah's World Newsletter. If you want to be part of our global community and be the first to receive our news, gifts, and exclusive content I only share with my people. Thank you for being here live with me, Carla, Marian, Anna, Loveline. It was so nice to have you here and to read your questions and to at least share a few lights on the answers. And thank you for watching the replay, everyone who's watching. Thank you for the dancers who have been sharing these live sessions with their students, with their friends. Spread the word. We're here building something bigger than ourselves, bigger than Egyptian dance. It is so wonderful to have you being a part of this. I love you, and I will see you soon, guys. Until then, receive my warmest kiss, okay?